Yeah. Welcome to WiseTake.com. This is CK013 bringing you another NBA DFS podcast. It's Friday, January 27th, 2017. We've got another large slate. Last night we had a 4-game slate, and I think that one thing that we all know for sure, if you haven't known already, you probably know now if you played last night, and that is that Jokic is the GOAT. The guy is incredible. The things he's doing is just amazing, and it's not even on the scoring. The guy's getting assists, rebound. Like, he is just a force you should not be fading. It's like, now on a large slate, given that his price is as high as it is, and it's probably going to go up after he put up a 60 burger last night. I don't know if it's going to be a situation where you're going to have to, where you can't fade him going forward. But on a slate like last night, there's only 4 games. There's not a lot of options. It's okay to go ahead and pay for those points. Like, I talk about how I personally don't play LeBron too much in GPPs. In cash, I'll play him, but in GPPs, the reason I don't play him so often is because I'm paying for 50 points. So if he only gets 50 points, and in a GPP, I'm looking for upside. I'm looking for people to surpass. I want more than 5x if I'm playing a GPP and playing a guy at 10K. So we're playing a guy like LeBron, or in this case, Jokic. If you think they're only going to get around 50 to 55, it may not be worth it. But if you're on a slate like last night, there's 4 games, it's very limited. He's clearly the best power forward going, at least on FanDuel, he's power forward. Then it really doesn't make much sense to fade him, because by far he's going to outscore the rest of the field, and you can literally pay for those points because there's a lack of places to pay up elsewhere. Like last night, you had Westbrook, you had Jokic, Towns. You could easily fit all those guys in, and you might have to choose between like Bledsoe or Westbrook, but it was easy to fit all those guys in last night. I didn't have a problem at all, especially with all the value that opened up on the Dallas side. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna move on. Jokic is the GOAT. We got a lot of games to cover today, and I'm trying to keep this around half an hour or so. If it goes, anywhere from half an hour to 40 minutes is where I'd like to keep the podcast. So, obviously, it's harder to do that when we have these larger slates. So we're gonna go position by position, and we're gonna see. Let's see what there is out there. There's a couple plays. I looked a little bit already. There's a couple of things that I think are interesting. John Wall is 10-2. He has a great matchup against Atlanta. I'm just concerned about the pace and the fact that he's on the road. Does that mean you don't play John Wall? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I think you could certainly play John Wall. But you're going to have to weigh your decisions. John Wall is only $100 less than Giannis. And point guard appears to be... point guard isn't extremely deep today. But there are guys in pretty good spots. It's just a matter of, I think it's like a matter of perception. Some people are going to think point guard is ugly. Some people are going to think point guard is attractive. You make your own determination. So John Wall's in play against Schroeder. I love targeting point guards against Atlanta to begin with, and shooting guards against Atlanta. So that would mean Beal's in play as well, I guess. Isaiah Thomas is 9,800 on FanDuel. That's just too much for me. He's home, and yeah, I know with Bradley out, he's getting a monster usage bump. I know, but my point is that he's 9.8. He's $200 short of 10. So you're looking at 50 to pay off his salary, and Bradley's been out for a couple of games, and he's only actually hit 50 once, which makes me think the chances of him surpassing 50 may not be so great. Not to mention, this is I believe it's a 4-5 for Boston. They played on the 25th. So, yeah, okay, they played the 21st. Oh, no, it's not. I apologize. It's not. It's a 3-4. It's a 3-4. I didn't realize in between their Portland and Washington game there was a couple days off. So, this is a 3-4. So, it's not terrible. And if you want to play him, I don't blame you. I understand. I don't think he'll be too popular today just because I don't think people feel comfortable paying that price for Isaiah Thomas. But he's certainly in play. Kyle Lowry, if DeRozan is out, Kyle Lowry becomes a monster play once again. And this time he's home. And it seems like it would be pretty easy to maybe do a Lowry and Giannis. So that's an option. Kyrie, certainly in play. He's at home against Brooklyn. My concern is obviously the blowout factor. I think in cash you can pretty much load up on the Cavs' big three, and I think you're safe to get your 30, 40, maybe even 50 from certain guys. I think Love can put up 40 here in the first 3 quarters. Kyrie could probably put up a 35, 40 in the first 3 quarters, and LeBron could probably get his 50 in the first 3 quarters. So it's not something I'm dying to go to just because it's such a large slate. I don't know if I want to target a game that I'm pretty sure it would be a blowout. Then again, the way that Cleveland has been playing, you don't know. So it could be worth a shot. I think a good strategy that a lot of people miss out on is they have tried to guess these blowouts and they avoid. Like, guessing a blowout is not easy. Just because Vegas says the line is 15 or 16 or 12, it's not easy. First of all, you don't know how long that game is going to stay close, and second of all, if you were that good at predicting these outcomes, then you'd be making a killing betting on sports. So if you're not doing that, if you're not very good at it, which I think most of us aren't, then why are you trying to set your lineups based off that? So I'm not saying not to do it. It's certainly, if you could figure out the blowout, sure, take advantage of that, leverage that. But this is a case where, in my opinion, it's Cleveland's going to be extremely, extremely upset. They're going to be playing extremely tough, and they're going to look to make a statement after losing, what are they, 6 out of the last 8 something. They've been bad lately, and they just lost to Boogie at home. So they're going to come out swinging, and Brooklyn can't stop anybody. So I don't see a world where this game actually stays close, but it very well could. So, you make your call on that. I'm off Lillard against Memphis. I don't like the pace here. Kemba's interesting. I think for GPPs, I don't think people are going to be on Kemba for obvious reasons. Obvious reasons being he's on the road. But Kemba burned me once before in this spot. He's playing at the Garden. And for people who go to UConn, which Kemba did, the Garden is like their second home. So I know that they say he has the home and road splits, and he does. I'm not denying that. I just feel like if there was ever a spot to take him on the road, it would be at the Garden. And the Knicks are a horrible defensive team. They're struggling. Derrick Rose, while in DVP charts, the Knicks haven't been too bad against point guards. He yields a pretty high field goal percentage to point guards. So a guy like Kemba who can shoot and will shoot, he should get plenty of opportunities to shoot. So I do like Kemba. Connolly let a lot of people down a couple days ago. He's 7,400. He's in a great matchup again against Portland. I really like his spot today. It's a pace-up spot for him, so I don't like Lillard, but I do like Connolly. He's only 7,400. I think he burned a lot of people that played him, and a lot of people don't play him to begin with because he's on Memphis. And I think he could crush here, so I definitely like him at 7,400. I'm not too big on Teague today. He certainly got the upside. You could be my guest, but he just played last night, and now he's playing Collison. They are home, but I'm not going to go there. But you could certainly take that chance. Dragic is obviously, once again, in a monster spot. Depending on if Tyler Johnson is out, is going to determine whether or not I think his spot increases. What worries me here is the pace. This is both two of the slower-paced teams in the league, so I'm a little concerned about the pace here. But he's 7,200, and his usage is phenomenal. Him and Waiters have just been crushing ever since Tyler Johnson's been out. So he's certainly a play at 72. Holiday's got a tougher matchup against San Antonio. Granted, I know they have some injuries, but my concern, I always say it about Holiday's, is minutes. Now, don't get me wrong. I do want to mention that if Anthony Davis misses, which I guess you never know, even if they say he's going to play, there's a chance he won't. I definitely think Holiday becomes a great play at 6,800, just for the simple fact that they're going to have to use him. When AD is out, they use Holiday way more, and we saw that against Cleveland when he put up the 60 burger. He played 39 minutes. He don't play those kind of minutes when AD plays. He don't. So only time he gets those real kind of minutes is when AD's out. So if Anthony Davis is out, they're going to have to rely on Drew Holiday a lot more. So I definitely think he's viable. I really like Elf today, and I know it's maybe a little bit of a hot take. He let a lot of people down last time, including myself. I think he was super high owned, super chalk, and a chalky Elf is not an Elf that I want. So, but at 6,500, I think he'll be almost unowned just because he let so many people down, and there's so many options at point guard today. So I really don't think he's going to be on too many people's radar, and I really like him. At 6,500, he's the same price as Derrick Rose, and I think in this spot, Peyton is in a much better matchup than Derrick Rose is. Granted, Kemba's not the best defender. It's not that I'm worried about Kemba defense, but I know Isaiah Thomas is a terrible defender. So I think people will not be on Elf. I mainly like Elf because I'm thinking he'll be lower owned than he probably should in this kind of matchup. Targeting point guards against Isaiah Thomas and Boston in general has been a phenomenal thing to do for me this year. I'm going to keep doing it. So I like Elf at 65. Like I said, I always say, some people like to poke fun, but you got to have short-term memory. And listen, Elf crushed me last time. I think I had 100% exposure to him in that spot. He crushed me. Well, he bounces back. He's in a better matchup, and he has a similar spot with Meeks out, Fournier out. So I definitely love Elf today. Rose is in play, but I'm not crazy about him or any of the Knicks right now. They got a lot of issues right now, especially with the whole trade rumors thing with Melo. Because think about it, if they're trading Melo, they're basically telling Rose and Noah that we're giving up on the season. So it's not going to feel too good for a guy like Rose, who's looking to win and looking for a fat contract, which good luck with that. Um, Smart's in play. I'm not crazy about him, and you don't know what minutes he's going to get now. I mean, I got ticked off because I thought his matchup with the Rockets was great, and for him, and they decided to bench him or whatever. So I understand why they did it. He threw a tantrum. Can't be a baby, That wasn't very smart of him. But anyway, McConnell. I don't think I'm on McConnell today just because he's going to have Pat Beverly defense on him. In the same sense, I don't really like Beverly either because he's going to have McConnell defense on him. Not to mention Beverly doesn't do much, to be honest. But Brogdon's okay. I'm just concerned about the minutes. Delly's been playing a lot more lately. Now, I think they have been playing Brogdon and Delly together a little bit. But still, he's not playing those 35, 36 minutes that we were seeing before. So it makes it harder to play him. I'm not afraid of the matchup, though, against Lowry. Darren Collison's an interesting punt play at 4,800. But that's pretty much as low. I'm sure there's other guys, but that's as low as we're going to go. Move on to shooting guard so we don't run too low on time here. Harden is 12K. Good matchup against Philly. It's not a, believe it or not, Philly's been good against two guards. But obviously Harden is Harden. And he was disappointing to a lot of people in that last game against Boston. And he's 12K. So you know what you need. You need a ridiculous amount of points from him. And if you don't think he can put up that 60 to 70, 80 point game, then maybe he's not worth playing on such a large slate. Now, shooting guard isn't the deepest position today, but there's some options. There's certainly some options. Right under Harden, we got Giannis at 10-3. I think Giannis is in a fantastic spot, especially if DeRozan is out. If DeRozan is out, there's really nobody on that team to stop Giannis. And I could see Lowry and Giannis being a perfect little play. Just play it and sit back and watch and hopefully win all the money. So I definitely think that's an option. McCollum's in a good spot matchup-wise, but again, he's in a pace-down spot. But matchup-wise, I would much rather play McCollum than Lillard for sure. I'm not saying I'm going to play McCollum, but I would rather play him. I think his ownership will certainly be low. So if you're looking for a low-owned guy at shooting guard, I think he'll certainly be low. Dwayne Wade, man. He's playing Miami, his old team. He's home in Chicago, and he's been crushing lately. I forgot who it was, but somebody did say I think he's going to go on a tear, and he certainly has been. And I think that's because I don't think people realize he's been playing. He's been bringing up the ball a lot. He's been you take a guy like Wade, you put him in the point guard position. It's fantasy goodness. Now the matchup becomes a little bit tougher for him today. Now, I think he's going to be playing a little motivated because he's playing his old team, Miami, and he's been feeling pretty down about his teammates. He called them all out, obviously, him and Butler. But the matchup is a little tougher because if he runs the point, he's going to have Dragic on him, and if he plays the two, which he always plays, he's going to have Dion Waiters. So, not that I'm too afraid of Dion Waiters, but he's not, he's decent. He can defend, and Dwayne Wade's old. So, I think he's in play, and he's constantly low-owned because he was playing so poorly before. But now he's had 2 games where he's crushed. So, I'm worried that people are going to hop on him, especially after Harden might have let them down against Boston. And we've already seen Harden let them down against Golden State. So, I don't really know what his ownership's going to be like. If he's low-owned, certainly a guy is viable. I think he's got some narrative playing his old team. I think he just called out his teammates, so you know he's going to play pumped. You got to lead by example. A guy like that, you call out your teammates, you better lead by example, and you better come back to play next time. Batum's in a fantastic spot. Who's going to stop Nicholas Batum? Batum I do like better than Walker. 1, he's cheaper. And 2, like I said, who's going to stop Batum? You got Rose on Kemba. You got Melo and MKG. You got KP on some power forward or center. Who's going to cover Batum? Courtney Lee? Courtney Lee's going to cover Batum? I don't see that being very viable. So he could, it's possible. He may be a little chalky. I don't know. But I do like Batum today. Bradley Beal's also in a fantastic spot. 7,100. Atlanta is horrible against shooting guards. And it makes sense when you look who's going to cover him. I mean, you're going to have Thabo is probably their best defender, and Thabo is most likely going to be covering, Porter, right? Or something like that. So I think that leaves Beal pretty much wide open. So he's definitely in play against Atlanta. Only thing you're concerned about, of course, is that pace down spot and the fact that he's been playing. His last game he played well, but he does apparently have a lingering injury. So just keep an eye on that. I believe Bradley's supposed to be out. If he does, then everything I said previously is perfectly in play. However, if he plays, that might throw off some stuff. But yeah, it looks like, he's supposed to be out for all 4 games this week, so I'm assuming he's out. Dion Waiters, his price is now up to 62. So this is a guy that started, 4s or 5s, and he's all the way up to 62, rightfully so, with all the injuries that they've had. But the thing about Waiters, I only like him if Tyler Johnson is out. If Tyler Johnson's going to play, which I don't think we know yet, then Waiters is good. One, he's going to have a backup. Two, he's going to have some of that usage pulled away from him by Tyler Johnson. But if Tyler Johnson doesn't play, I don't see why not to take Waiters again. Now, he's going to have Wade on him, and Wade is old, but Wade is smart. He's a smart player. So there's little things, it's little things when you're playing a guy who's younger. So 6,200, he's in play. Pace down spot on the road, kind of an ugly matchup. He may be a little chalky, and if Waiters is going to be super chalk, he's been chalk the last 2 days, I get it. But if he's going to be super chalk in this matchup in a pace down spot, I don't want nothing to do with him. It smells too much like an Elf Peyton from 2 days ago spot. Could be wrong, though. Eric Gordon's in play, but I'm not crazy about him, and he's a game-time decision. Tyreek Evans is in a really good spot. I think he's a great GPP play. I wouldn't put him in cash, but if Anthony Davis is out, only if Anthony Davis is out, and Tyreek's going to get a little bit more minutes. We never know. That's the problem with him, is you really don't know what minutes he's going to get. The one time I decided not to play him once, and he played 28 minutes against Brooklyn and crushed. And then I've been playing him a little bit since, and his minutes have been 13, 12, and 22. So you don't know what you're going to get. Now, in the 22 minutes against OKC, he did put up 33.5 points. So he still shows you that he's a very good points per minute guy. It's just how many minutes you're going to play. That's the ultimate question. So I do like Tyreek as an interesting GPP flyer. San Antonio struggles at covering shooting guards to begin with. That's their only real weakness on the team. And if they're going to stay in this game at all, they're going to need big games from both Holiday, Tyreek, and potentially Terrence Jones, although Terrence Jones' matchup may be a little more tough. Fournier is apparently a game-time decision. So let me go back to what I was saying about Elf. He sat out of practice Thursday, so that makes me think he's not going to play. I only like Elf if Fournier is out. If Fournier is going to play, I don't want Elf. But I think Fournier is going to be out. So I just wanted to make a correction. If Fournier does play, I still don't want him. His matchup is okay, but I don't want a guy playing his first game back from injury. I'd rather not. Tony Allen certainly in play at 4,600 as a cheapie. Norman Powell is in play. I don't think I'm going to be too big on him. DeJounte Murray's been burning me a couple times lately, so he's interesting. I'm talking about some punt options for you, not guys that I would recommend. Kilpatrick's a decent punt at 4K, GPP only because you don't know what you're going to get from him. Wade Ellington certainly in play. CJ Watson. So these are all little punt options that you can take an attempt with. Norman Powell's been playing great. I feel like he's going to be the chalk here if DeRozan is out. And I may want to pivot to a guy like DeJounte Murray instead, just because I think Murray does have the upside. It's just a matter of he's been burning a lot of people. Is he going to get those minutes? That's the question. And I don't know. But all I know is that if Powell is going to be chalky yet again, I don't think I want to be on that. But certainly be my guess. If you want to play him. Kilpatrick, like I said, also is another interesting. Cleveland struggles against the shooting guard position. Kilpatrick's minutes have been inconsistent, and he really hasn't done too much lately. But we know he's capable of, if he gets a 30-minute run, which he has from time to time, we know what he's capable of. So at a guy at 4K, if you want to punt on somebody in the GPP, it might as well be a guy that you know has that upside. Moving on to small forward, we got LeBron. LeBron's at a monster spot. I just think the spot is just almost too good for his entire team. But he's certainly in play. Kawhi Leonard, 9-8. Game time decision with his hand. If he plays, he's in a crush spot. I just think if he plays, they're going to crush New Orleans without Anthony Davis. So that's a little concerning, but Kawhi's in a great spot. New Orleans pretty bad against threes, so I can see Kawhi crushing. Jimmy Butler, I'm expecting Butler and Wade to play well just because they did call out their teammates. So like I said, you got to lead by example. So I'd rather play Wade because he's cheaper, obviously, and I like to pay down at small forward. But he's 9,800, is in a pace down spot, but he is at home, and it is Jimmy Butler. So there you go. Not too big on Melo today. He's 8K, and there's all these rumors going around about him getting traded. I'm sure he's not feeling happy about that after coming out and basically saying, I want to play here. It seems like Phil Jackson's basically saying, well, we don't want you. So I don't know what Melo's going to do. And he's going to have MKG on him. I don't know. I think you're going to get a frustrated Melo today. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. Maybe he'll get frustrated and crush. Maybe he gets frustrated and just collapses. I'm not sure. Paul George is interesting, but he just played last night. His price is nice at 73, but I am a little concerned about the pace. I'm a little concerned about the fact that he played last night. He's getting a little older. Not that he's old. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's old, but he's getting older. And he's one of their best. He's their best player, so you don't know what they're going to do as far as his minutes. I think they'll probably let him. They don't have a choice. They kind of got to let him rock because when he doesn't play, they're bad. So not that they're very good to begin with, but he's definitely in play at 73. Porter is in a decent spot. I'm not crazy about the pace down matchup. Crowder had a great game last time, and if the same injuries remain, he's obviously still in play. Now, I think the reason he got so many opportunities was because Marcus Smart sat. So if Marcus Smart doesn't start, I think Crowder has another opportunity because he'd be he becomes the third scorer outside of Isaiah Thomas and Horford. So I think Crowder could be in a good spot, but he may be a little chalky, and he's not the kind of guy you want to chase. And the reason I say that is, one, he's priced up at 59, but if you look at his game logs, this was the first time he hit 40 since I think all year. I don't know, maybe he's done it once before, I have no idea, but I'm looking at his game logs now, and there's certainly no other 40-point game in there. So I think taking him now would be kind of chasing. So I'm not going to be too big on Crowder today, I don't think. MKG is actually in a decent spot. I'm not afraid of Melo defense. I think he gets up for New York like a lot of guys does, like a lot of these younger guys do. He's 5,400. He's been playing very well lately, at least in my opinion. I mean, I've been playing him a lot, and he's been doing me well. 31 points against Golden State. He did have a dud against Washington, but he only played 27 minutes, and that game was pretty much a blowout. So I think that's why. But he's been pretty consistent for the most part lately, as long as he gets his 30 minutes or so. So I do like MKG at 54. Aaron Gordon certainly in play. He's going to have Crowder defense on him, but Aaron Gordon, I think, would be okay. He's been a worse matchup since he's done okay, so I think he's still fine. Ariza's obviously fine. I prefer to pair Ariza with Harden because of the correlation with the assist there. It gets kind of ugly after that. Not big on Baze, not big on Turner. Baze had a big game last game. I'll give him that, but he's one of those guys that if he has a big game, stay away because he's not very consistent. But be my guest if you want to try. Not too big on too many people down here. I think Karis LeVert is interesting at 43. I really wish they would just understand this guy is your future. He's one of your better players, and he's young. You give him a run. Now, he played 26 against Miami. I want to see this guy playing 30 minutes. Let's see what he can do. Your team stinks anyway. You might as well give it a shot. Let's see what Karis LeVert can do. I think he could do a lot if you put the ball in his hands. So, certainly in play as a punt option because I think even in a blowout, he would still get his run. DeMarre Carroll is a good pairing with Lowry. Most of Carroll's shots come off assists. Lowry's obviously the assist leader for the team, so I think he's okay. If you want to try a Sam Dekker, be my guest. But we're going to move on here. Obviously, Jeff Green's in play and Kyle Anderson only if Kawhi's out, but those are some punt options. Power forward, and we got to try to excel this a little bit. Anthony Davis, game time decision. I wouldn't recommend playing him. I mean, if he does play, he'll be super low owned, but it's still Anthony Davis, and I don't think he's going to play anyway. His price came down to 10-3. The dude just, I mean, how can you can't play a guy that keeps getting hurt like that, man. He's going to crush you. Maybe you want one or two lineups to him if you have multiple lineups, go ahead. But you can't go too heavy on a guy like that. I think Millsap's expensive, but who's going to stop him on Washington? I don't think Markieff Morris is going to be able to keep up with him. Granted, I think Markieff is okay. We'll talk about Markieff real quick. Markieff's price is all the way up to 6,900. I think that's a little high for him. He's been consistent lately. But this is a spot where if he's going to score, it's going to be shooting outside because I don't think he's going to get too far driving on Millsap or posting up on Millsap. So if he scores, it's going to be from long range. It's going to be those outside jumpers. I think that this matchup kind of limits his rebounding potential. So I like Millsap at 8,100. I don't know if I want Markieff at 69. I just don't know. Kevin Love in another great spot. His price went back up to 79, which stinks. I enjoyed playing him when he was down in the low sevens. That was nice. When he came back from his illness and he had a couple bad games. But he's back up to 7,900. He's in a great sput. There's nothing I can really say. He's in a great spot. Again, you just have to think about the blowout and just hold some concern there. But in cash games, I don't see a world where guys like Love, LeBron, and Kyrie don't crush today. LaMarcus Aldridge in a very good spot, especially without AD. He should have Terrence Jones on him, I think. Well, it depends on if Gasol's out. If Gasol's out, he's been playing a little bit of the 5. So I don't know what the deal is with Gasol. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to look him up real quick just so we can confirm that. I think he's still going to be out. Okay, he underwent surgery. Oh, wow, he had surgery on Friday. Oh, they don't know when he's going to be back. So LMA is probably going to be playing some center and some 4. He's going to play 4 and 5. LMA is certainly in play. If Kawhi's out, LMA is basically a lock and load. Even though he's 7,900, he's going to get that usage. So pay attention to that. If Kawhi does play, I'm not too big on LMA myself just because I'm concerned that if Kawhi and Aldridge both play, I think they're going to crush New Orleans without Anthony Davis. I could be wrong, and again, you don't want to keep guessing too many times. I'm not a very good sports bettor, so I don't want to keep guessing these trying to predict the outcome of these games because that's a quick way to lose money if you're not very good at it. So Jabari is okay. I don't like Jabari. I like Giannis more than I like Jabari. Now, here's the thing. If DeRozan plays, then I prefer Jabari. If DeRozan is out, I prefer Giannis. And it's simply because If DeRozan plays, he's going to cover Giannis, and he's a decent defender. He'll keep up with Giannis enough to slow him down, which opens up opportunities for Jabari. If DeRozan doesn't play, then Giannis is just in too good of a spot. And there's nobody that's going to stop him, and he's going to take all the shots, and he's going to win you all the money. We talked about Markieff. Kristaps Porzingis is only 6,600. I like his price decrease. I just don't like that number, and he's been really bad. He got foul trouble early, so he could certainly bounce back. You all know, for me, a guy that's 6,600 I have horrible luck with, so I'm not playing him, even though I love KP. But he's in play. Ibaka's in a very good spot here. Boston struggles against power forwards in general. They're not a good rebounding team. So I think Serge is a great spot at 6K. I think he's in a phenomenal position. I don't think it'd be too popular either. Ersan with Embiid out, with Okafor out, is obviously in another great spot. He's against Houston. He should get some rebound opportunities. He should get a lot of threes. Houston gives up just as many threes as they take. So I think Ersan is also in a very sneaky spot. I like this range here. I like Ibaka. I like Ersan. I like this range. Randolph is interesting at 59. Portland does struggle against power forward, so I think his matchup is actually really good here. But there's just so many options. But he's certainly in play at 59. I do like Randolph today. I like everybody. That's the problem, right? Terrence Jones, if AD is out, he's been typically the guy you go to. I just don't know if I want to do that against San Antonio. Now, if that's what everybody else is thinking, then sure, I'll throw him in some GPPs because you know his usage is there and you know he's going to get the minutes. He's been playing phenomenal, but his price is up. See, I liked it before because he was so cheap you can get away with it. Now his price is up. David Lee also, his price is also up 5,700, so you're going to have to really pay attention to see his matchup and see if it's worth it. It's no longer a gimme. All these guys, James Johnson, Thad Young, Aminu, you could see reasons to play all of them. Even Booker, Ryan Anderson, I think is in a phenomenal spot, especially if Gordon's out. I think Anderson will get a bigger run. So Anderson, if Gordon is out, Anderson should get a larger run. Nerlens Noel, 4,600. Okafor's out, Embiid's out. You play him. Now, if they're going to play, you can ease off. But if they're not playing, he only crept up to 4,600 on FanDuel. It's only $500. You play him. So I just don't think there's a point in fading a guy that's that cheap who's really their only option at that point. Him and Ersan become Philly's main two guys. So it's like, how do you not take them, right? We're going to move on to center here just because we're running low on time. Boogie, I don't see who stops Boogie here. Now, he's coming off a huge game, so, a big emotional win over Cleveland, so that does worry me a bit with the Kings. But they are in a great spot. Gasol crushed last time. Matchup is slightly tougher around the rim with Plumlee, so he may not get as easy, putbacks around the rim. But Plumlee's not going to cover him from the perimeter, so he's still in a phenomenal matchup. Whiteside is a bum. Yep. Whiteside is a bum. He's 8,600. No, thank you. His price did drop, but the pace down. Hassan's been playing terrible. I don't know if he's hurt or what the deal is, but don't want any part of him. If Embiid plays, then I'm no longer going to be playing Noel. If Embiid plays, I'm going to be playing all the Embiid because he just got snubbed for the All-Star game, and he really wanted to go. I feel horrible, man. He deserved to go. How did he not go? He deserved to go. He's likable. He's playing phenomenal. He pretty much turned the entire dynamic of his team around. The 76ers are pretty good this year, or at least lately. Lately, they've been pretty good. And even though Embiid's been out the last couple of games, you can see that with his personality, he's kind of changing the culture down there. So, I'm very disappointed he got snubbed personally, and I'm not a Sixers fan. I just like Embiid. You root for guys like him, guys who seem good, guys who are entertaining, guys who are very athletic, and guys who can ball. Especially these guys on these teams where they don't have any superstars. It's a bunch of young guys, and he's running the show, and it's a phenomenal thing to watch. Horford at 76, I think he's in a great spot here. Lopez, 7,400. I think he's overpriced against Cleveland. Cleveland's pretty good at protecting the rim. So I know I said that and Boogie crushed him, but that was a whole different scenario. Boogie is Boogie. LeBrolo is Brolo. Boogie is Boogie. Howard's in a decent spot, 7,100. I'm not crazy about that price because I'm not crazy about Howard's. I'm just not crazy about Howard in general. His upside scares me a bit, but he's in play. I don't like Plumlee today at all. I don't like Vooch too much. You can take a shot. It's not a problem. You could definitely. You know what? Boston is a bad rebounding team, so if you want to take Vooch for that, it's just he's splitting minutes with Biyombo. You got Ibaka. There's a lot of different guys that can soak up those rebounds. So I'm not too big on Vooch today, but he's certainly not in a bad spot. Miles Turner, 64. I don't want him against Boogie. Monroe, okay against Valanciunas. They're both the same price, him and Valanciunas. So I think that you can take a shot with either of them as if you're looking for that range. I think you could take a shot with either of them. I'm not afraid of either of their defenses. I think that Valanciunas is more of a lock for the minutes, but Monroe is more of a lock for the production. So you got to make that decision. I don't like Gortat. Capella's interesting. If Embiid is playing, I don't want any part of any Houston bigs. But if Embiid is out, I think Capella is interesting if he's going to get run. He's only been playing about 20 minutes, but we've seen against Golden State in 21 minutes, he put up 39.9 FanDuel points. So he's definitely a viable punt option in GPPs. Joakim Noah is interesting. I think he'll have Spencer Hawes. So Hernan Gomez is the guy I wanted to talk about. You got to keep playing Hernan Gomez. If you've been playing him, keep playing him. If you're not playing him, you got to consider. The guy's been just crushing lately, and his price is all the way up to 47. So he's the same price as Joakim Noah, and they've finally been giving this kid a run. 2 games in a row, he's been at 24 minutes. 2 games in a row, he's been over 30 fantasy points. So he's definitely a guy you have to consider. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. We didn't get to talk too much in depth because obviously there's a lot of games, but I just wanted to kind of touch base on a few different people just to give you an idea of what I'm thinking about. Hey, let me know what your thoughts are. Reach me on Twitter at CK_013. Register at WiseTake.com. Get a free membership. You get access to our forums, our free raw NBA projections, our NBA raw cheat sheets. A lot of great stuff for you on there. So if you like what you see in the video or if you like the podcast, please give us a like on YouTube. Follow us on Podbean. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on iTunes. We really appreciate you guys listening. And we'd love to keep building this thing up. We do the live shows every Wednesday. As of now, we're going to do them on Wednesdays unless we see the demand for it goes up in general. So hopefully you guys like that. But good luck. Like I said, wisetake.com. Get a membership. It's free. Got a lot of cool stuff for you on there. We made an Instagram for the WiseTake where you like to put up some funny memes. So we got some stuff today. We put up an Instagram picture of, you can find it on the Twitter at @wise_take. But we did a meme of Jokic, and we put like a goat bottom. Like he has his upper body, and then we have like a goat bottom, and it says Jokic the goat. So just some funny stuff. We also put a funny one about Zaza because he's been playing crazy lately. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the podcast. If you did, like I said, please click that like button. It means a lot to us, and we really want to hear the feedback. Somebody recommended we put the dates on the video, so we will try that and see how that goes. So we're open. We listen to you guys. So if you have any feedback or you have any things you want me to answer or whatever it is, we do listen. So don't be afraid to reach out, okay? But anyway, that's going to do it for us here. I know I rambled here at the end, but as always, good luck. Yeah.